What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day. Out here getting another 45-minute walk in. Moving on to next video in my little series of documenting or speaking about my past financial situation when I was living in Richmond, about how much debt I had, how much my expenses were over my bills every month. But first, I do want to speak about one thing. The purpose of these videos is not to toot my own horn or whatever fucking saying you want to speak about it. I'm not trying to brag about me paying off my debt, like $40,000 in a year and a half. Or I gotta sit down and do the exact numbers, but roughly $40,000 paid off in a year and a half. Just off of my income alone. I'm not doing it to brag. I'm doing it to try and help people wake the fuck up and get the ball rolling with their shit. Because there's a lot of people that are in debt. They're struggling to pay their bills every month. And I promise you, once you sit down and look at your budget, if you don't have one, you need to have one. If you look at your budget, look at your expenses and your income, look at how much money you have left over every month. Some people are going to be in a better position than others in terms of how much money they have left over. Like, some people are going to be like, oh, there's $800-900 left that we don't account for, and they just end up blowing it on random shit here and there. It's a bug on my other phone. I'm using my other phone to bring up my notepads. But anyways, there's going to be some people that have a lot of money left over, and they just blow it away because they don't know it's there. Then there's going to be other people that you do a budget, you count for every expense you have, and you ain't got much at all. You might even be in the negative. And it's a tough situation to be in. I've been there. I'm going to speak about that in a second. Some months I was in the negative. I didn't have much overtime coming in. You make it work. But in Richmond, I was also Uber and Lyfting as well. Doing Uber and Lyft in Richmond part-time as well as my regular job. It helped out a lot. But first things first, you got to sit down and do your budget and figure out where you stand, how much debt you have, how much income you have, and how much money you have left over every month. I got I'm gonna put screenshots up here, pictures. This is my finance. These are my finances back from 2022. So I've had a budget for years, but even before I was working on getting out of debt. This was when I was still married, back in 2022. So look at a mortgage $740, car insurance, phone. The total was $920. Fucking bills weren't shit. Groceries, you can either take all your groceries out of one paycheck or split it up between your paychecks, whether you get 2 or 4 paychecks a month. I can't remember what that personal loan was, the $216. I don't know what the fuck that was for. I can't remember. Northern Neck Electric, dish, and yeah, didn't have much debt, thankfully. So also Mabel was, we named our fucking minivan, so that's what Mabel was. $400 a month for that. And you see I put a P next to it as I paid the bills. I got a little different technique now. I use just a little check mark box. Pull my notepad. See, back then, I mean, I had a little bit of overtime back then, not as much as I do now, but even looking at it back then, I should have had extra money left over every month. I probably did. And I just ended up blowing it. We just ended up buying shit here and there, blowing it, not putting it aside, not saving, not investing. I didn't save or invest anything in my 20s. It's really sad and unfortunate, actually. And I'm trying to. I don't want my kids to do the same fucking thing. I don't want that for my kids. So I made all the mistakes financially in my 20s, and I'm getting my shit together now So that way I can teach my kids not to do the same thing I did. Invest, save at a young age, live below your means. But that's just to show there that I've been budgeting for years. Anyways, on to living in Richmond. 2024, after the divorce, had child support, had a car payment for the Honda Civic. I'll bring in the screenshot up here. So yeah, I get paid on the 1st and 16th. Back then, my base paychecks were $15, $13 each paycheck without overtime, equaled $3,026 a month. You can see right there, total expenses $41.80 for the whole month. And the reason for that is rent was $13.95, and child support, each paycheck was $400, $800 a month for child support. Gym, internet for Verizon, phone bill for Verizon, Progressive for car insurance. You know, having a finance vehicle, you need to have full coverage, a little bit more expensive. A Macy's credit card, which was the divorce attorney put that on the credit card. That was like $7,000 total. I don't know how much the exact amount for the Macy's credit card was. Hey! My dog's barking at me. Yeah, you go boy. Go lay down. Had the day off today. He wants to go run and get out and play. Anyways. So yeah, I don't know how much the balance was for Macy's at this point. To only be $130 a month. With a $6,000 or $7,000 payment, balance, it's going to be more than $130, so I don't know. But at this time, it was $130. Finbo, so it's some fucking bank of some sort. I was a personal loan for $3,000 that I had for far too long, paying the minimum payments on it. Paying the minimum payments fucking takes forever to pay shit off. So at this time, that was only $1,500 left. That wasn't terrible, but it still was $143 a month. 2 Disneys. I can't fucking remember. I can't remember why I had 2 of them, but I did. Either way. On to the 16th paycheck, Synchrony Bank. I bought a mattress on a fucking credit card for $1,000. Maybe it was like $1,100, something like that. The minimum payment was $45 a month. The fucking balance to begin was like $1,200. I paid that shit for a year. The minimum payment. You can imagine paying the minimum, how much was still left after the year. It was like $900 some odd, $980. A whole year of paying the minimum, and the balance didn't go down hardly at all. That's the fucking thing about credit cards, man. And if y'all are anyone that struggles with credit card debt, you already know. If there's thousands of dollars on that shit, you pay the minimum. Let's say the minimum is $250. It goes down $250, and then the interest, because you have a balance on it at the end of the month, interest tags back on what, $150, $180, whatever it may be. So it hardly goes down at all. And then if the bitch isn't maxed out, you go and swipe the motherfucker again, and the balance keeps going up. So it's credit cards. It's a fucking scam, bro. It's disgusting what these financial institutions are able to do to us and take advantage of people that don't have the knowledge and the wherewithal to get out of debt and not fucking use credit cards. I was there. I did it. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is make people wake the hell up and stop using them and start paying them motherfuckers down, because I promise you it's going to take years. Depending on your situation, it's going to take a long time for you to get your finances right, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It took me a year and a half while living in a fucking camper. If I didn't live in the camper, it would take me 3-4 years. For real. But anyways, back to the finances. Synchrony Bank, child support, once again, MMA was $150. Electric varied every month, $150. Water and gas varied every month. I just allocated $150, so that's $300 extra on top of the $1,400 for rent. Groceries, I took it all out of one paycheck, put $500 aside for the month. Was that enough? Probably not. I can't remember. But that's what I allocated for it. And then the car payment for the Honda Civic, while I had the payment, was $292. So that's where my finances stood. So as you can see, the first of the month, if I got a base paycheck, I think it's like $980 without doing the math completely. I think it's like $980 in the negative because of the rent, child support, everything else that came out. Base paycheck $15, $13, $24.93, things like $980 in the negative. The 16th, if that was a base paycheck, I think that's like $174. So you can see where the $980, $174, if I got 2 base paychecks in a month, fucking $1154 in the negative every month. So yeah, not ideal. And one thing I want to speak on real quick is if you do get overtime at your job, whatever your job may be, try not to live off that overtime. Like, yeah, I could have stayed in Richmond because I was making overtime and paid off debt up there. But first of all, I want to be closer to my kids, so I moved back down here. But secondly, I don't want my finances based upon an imaginary number that I may or may not get in terms of how much overtime I have every month. And if you don't have overtime, this doesn't apply to you. You know what your fixed income is every month. But if you do have a job where you can make extra money, do not say, oh, if I work 10 extra hours a month or 20 extra hours a month, whatever it is, I'll be able to do that every month and pay for this car that I want. No, that's fucking bullshit, dude. Like, because then you're requiring yourself to work extra hours in order to supplement this life that you want. So, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at my finances, I didn't have that much debt per month. I mean, I had, like, unnecessary debt is what I mean. Unnecessary debt. I had the Macy's credit card was $130-ish. 143 for the Finbo, that was $300 total, and then $300 for the car at $600-ish. Synchrony's like 45, so $650. So yeah, like $650 that over time I could have got rid of, but the $650 I'd still be in the negative. That's the thing, I still would have been in the negative every month, just basing off my base pay. So that's why I was like, fuck this, I'm getting rid of this rent, I'm not getting a mortgage, moving in the camper, and paying this shit off as fast as I could. Not everybody can do that, and I understand that. That was where I stood. The car was like 13 or 14,000. That was the biggest thing I had really to get rid of. 14,000 in the car, roughly. Overpaid for it like a motherfucker. They got me. But had the Finbo was like 1,500 and the Synchrony was 1,000. Yeah, I could have paid those off. Hey! Oh God, boy. I'll clip this out until he stops barking. Okay, he calmed down. Also, I thought about it. It's a little windy, and I could probably cut the sound off in the background so you can't hear him if he starts barking again. Just isolate my voice. But anyways, see, I could have paid the Synchrony and the Finbo off. Oh, I forgot about the Macy's. I could have paid the Synchrony Bank and the Finbo off pretty quickly, but the Macy's was still like 7,000 or 6,000, something like that. So that plus the car, it would have taken me a long time to pay that shit off. Close over $20,000. And also I had planned on moving back home anyways to be closer to my kids. So moving back, I was like, if I'm gonna move back home, I might as well take advantage of it and try to avoid the rent or mortgage and pay everything off faster. And that's what I've been doing. So that's just a little breakdown of my bills when I was living in Richmond. And you'll see in the next video, I'm going to break down all my total. I moved the day after Thanksgiving 2024. That's when I moved. Living in this camper, getting everything set up, I got into more debt because of it. The reason for that, I was broke as shit, had no money saved. I needed down payment. You need 10% down for a camper. So I needed 10% down. Also, I'll take a quick fucking electric company. I'm not going to say fuck them, but typically you can do a temporary service where it's just a pole and a cross member and then the meter base and whatnot, because it was basically, I kind of screwed myself. I made it sound like it wasn't going to be temporary. They're like, oh, you're going to be living there full time. So I had to buy this pole. I forgot how much it was. I don't know. I had to buy this pole. I had to rent a fucking, because it's like 6-7 feet in the ground. I had to rent a fucking post hole digger thing. Did that with my buddy. I had to rent an excavator. That was like $600 for a day to lift this pole. Then I had to pay someone to do all this electrical work, because I know nothing about electricity. Do all this fucking work. That was like $1,000. Went all the way up there. You know, the funny thing about it is, the bitch isn't even hooked up. I'm still running electricity from the house with an extension cord. But I have the option to hook it up if I want, and I probably will do it eventually once I'm out of debt. I'll go ahead and buy the cable that runs down it and hook it up. But that was money that I spent that I didn't need to spend, but I thought I did. I didn't know it was going to be as efficient as it was to run it from the house, the extension cord, and then do a adapter into the side of the camper. I didn't know it was going to work that well. If I had known that, I would have skipped all that money spent right there. And also I had the extension cord going across in the air like that, just for grass cutting purposes. In the winter, I put it on the ground. But yeah, you go, boy. So yeah, extension cord going across. Go. This is also money spent. I go, boy. This was also money spent. This was like to redo this. Had to get this redone because this was all rotted out. Hopefully no snakes in here. That would not be good. But this oh Lord. Oh God. Damn, it's heavy. So that was like $1,000 to run that pipe through there. That was like $1,000, whatever. Might have overpaid for some stuff. I don't know. It was all necessary. At least I thought it was necessary at the time. And so yeah, that's some of the money that required to get things going. Oh, also, I had to rent a truck to tow the camper from New Jersey. That's where I bought it from. I don't have a truck. I have a Civic. So I had to rent the truck for like $500-600, something like that. So money for the truck, money for electrical, money for the plumbing, money for the down. I took out a loan for the down payment because I was broke. So that's why I had some more loans taken out than what was listed on that Richmond living breakdown. So technically the camper cost me more money, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future. It's all going to pay off in then. Is what it is. So yeah, I had to do $3,000 worth of work, put that pole in. I'll go in and show you. Give me 1 second. Alright, we're back. So yeah, once again, I had to pay for that, but then also Northern Electric Power Company, they had to redo the wires. They had to put a new transformer up there because it was old and outdated. They weren't going to do that until I put this pole. So that was an extra $3,000 that they charged me. Like I said, I wasn't really happy with it. I was kind of pissed off and mad, especially since I'm not even using it at the moment. But in the grand scheme of things, when I do run that wire down and hook it up like a normal camper, a 30 amp, it's going to be worth it. But the extension cord's been working fine for now. Anyways, that's really it for this video, I think. Talked about my budget when I was married. See, I didn't have much debt. Richmond living, how I was in the negative every month. Fuck that shit. Some of the expenses that I accrued with this camper. Also, this shit's a year and a half old now, so it's kind of beat up. But this skirting all the way around, that was like $500, maybe close to $600 for the whole thing. Because when I moved, beginning of December 2024, we had a huge fucking snowstorm come in, so I needed to get that stuff up and make sure my pipes didn't freeze and whatnot. It's worked out great. It's been on there for a year and a half now. I thought I would have to replace it by now, but it's held up good. So, anyways, that's backstory on what my finances were like when I was living in Richmond. Next video, I'm gonna give you a total breakdown of once I moved in and got settled, all my personal loans I had from moving, all the work that had to get done. Give you a total breakdown of all my finances, my debt. I think it was like $31,000 plus another $3 for the electric. It was like $34,000, $35,000, something like that. Initially off rip. I include the car, and that's not including the camper. I'm not including the camper in any of this debt because, you know, it is what it is. I'm doing other shit, consumer debt, personal loans that were dragging me down. So that's it. Finish this walk, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a good day.